today's class we're going to discuss about electric charge and electric field chapter. So we're going to start with this chapter. This is the first chapter in your physics. So the first thing that we're going to discuss in this chapter is about charge. Okay. So what is a charge? Charge is nothing but it's a property of a matter. Charge is a property of a matter. Just like moment you say a matter, it always has a mass, right? Similarly, if you say uh, a matter or a body has a charge, then it will experience a force moment you expose it to a electromagnetic field. So what is a charge? Is nothing but a property of a matter, a property of a matter due to which it experiences a force, it experiences force when exposed to electromagnetic field. All right, now from where do we get these charges? You all might have studied that protons possess positive charge and electrons possess negative charge. So now um, there are two types of charges, positive charge and negative charge. So protons possess positive charge and electrons possess negative charge. Very simple. So there are two types, positive charge, I'll just write like this, plus and then VE, just positive. Okay, so positive charge and electrons possess actually negative charge. Okay, so the two types of charges are positive and negative. And here we're going to write protons possess positive charge. Protons possess positive charge and electrons possess negative charge. And how much is the charge of the proton? Charge of the proton is plus 1.6 into 10 to the power of minus 19 coulomb. This C that I have written here, right? This is coulomb. Coulomb is nothing but the unit of charge. And the charge of the electron is also the same as charge of the proton, but it is a negative sign. So electron possesses negative charge, right? So minus 1.6 into 10 power minus 19 coulomb. All right. Now we all know these protons and neutrons are nothing but subatomic particles, right? So these two protons and electrons, they are present within the atom, right? Now we know this atom is made up of protons, electrons and neutrons. Now just to have a small idea of where are these electrons, where are these protons, let us understand a little bit about atom. See, when we talk about atom, the central portion of atom is called as nucleus, right? And within that nucleus, what we have protons and neutrons. Together they are called as nucleons. But anyway, the center of the atom is called nucleus, and in that you have protons and neutrons. Now around this nucleus, okay, you have this electrons revolving. Electrons revolve around the nucleus. It is just like a solar system, right? Sun is at the center, all the planets revolve around the sun. Similarly, if we go to the atom, the center of the atom you have a nucleus where you have protons and neutrons. Neutrons do not have any charge, right? The name itself indicates it's neutron. So neutrons do not have any charge. Protons have positive charge. That means at the center, the nucleus should be having a positive charge because protons are there within the nucleus, right? And around that nucleus you have these electrons. Okay, so electrons are revolving around the nucleus. So now if you take an atom, a neutral atom, if you take, number of protons will always be equal to number of electrons. Remember, number of protons will always be equal to number of electrons in a neutral atom. That is why the total charge of an atom is 0. But if you remove some electrons, okay, see this electron and this electron, if you remove, then the number of electrons will become lesser than number of protons. So therefore this atom will become an ion, a positive ion, because you have removed electrons, right? So moment you remove electrons, number of protons will become greater than number of electrons, or number of electrons becomes less than number of protons, both are the same, right? Now Remember, you can either remove electron or add electron, but you cannot do anything with the protons because protons are within the nucleus. It's very difficult to remove this proton. And if you are doing something with this proton which is present within the nucleus, you are doing actually a nuclear reaction, right? So we cannot charge a body by adding proton or by removing proton. We can charge a body by adding electrons to it or by removing electrons from it, right? That's how we can charge a body, right? So remember, it's very important. To charge a body, you can either add electron to it or remove electron from it, but you cannot add proton or remove electron. That's not possible because protons are present within the nucleus, and within this nucleus these protons and neutrons, they're all bound together by a very strong force called as nuclear force. Okay. Alright, so more about nuclear force and all those things we'll study in another chapter called a nucleus. Fine. So for this, this much is enough um, for this chapter of electric charges, right? So now we will discuss more about um, properties of charges, right? Before going to properties of charges, we will take a small note. That is, to charge a body, to charge a body, to charge a body, we can only add or remove electrons. We cannot add or remove protons as they are present within the nucleus, all right. And these protons are bound by a strong nuclear force, therefore we cannot add or remove proton, but we can easily do add or remove electrons. All right, fine. So now when you add electron, the body will become negatively charged. When you remove electron, the body will become positively charged. Easy to understand. Now let us discuss about properties of these charges. All right, properties of these charges. Properties of charge. One of the important property of charge is that charges are additive in nature. Charges are additive in nature. What do you mean by charges are additive in nature? It just means if a body has some amount of charge and you add some amount of charge to it again, so the net charge will become initial charge plus the new charge that you have added. As simple as that. Charges are additive in nature. So the first property is charges are additive in nature. Charges are additive in nature. It just means, say you have a body, okay, and to this body, let us say you add 2 coulomb of charge, and at the same time you also add 1 coulomb of charge, okay, or minus 1 coulomb of charge. Now what will be the net charge of this body? The net charge of this body will be 2 coulomb plus the minus 1 coulomb. So overall it will just become 2 minus 1 is 1 coulomb, right? That's all. The charges are additive in nature means you keep adding the charges to know the net charge of the body. As simple as that. The next property that we're going to discuss is charge is quantized. What do you mean by charge is quantized? It just means the total charge of a body, is an integral multiple of basic charge. Total charge of a body is an integral multiple of basic charge. What is the basic charge? The basic charge is charge of an electron or charge of a proton, which is 1.6 into 10 to the power of minus 19 coulomb. You cannot have half of this. You can have an integral multiple of these basic charge. I mean to say that you can add electron. Okay, you can add 1 electron or 2 electron or 3 electron. You cannot add 1.2 electron or 1.5 electron. That doesn't exist. You can have only 1 electron you can add, or 2 electron you can add, 3 electron you can add. So that's what it means. It means the total charge of a body is always an integral multiple of basic charge. It just means the total charge, I can write Q net, that is Q net. The net charge is always an integral multiple of basic charge, where n is what? where where n is an integer, where n is an integer. So if you have removed 1000 electrons from a body, then the charge of the body will be plus 1000 into basic charge, right? That means the n will become 1000. If you add 1000 electrons to the body, then the body will acquire negative charge. Then the charge of the body will be again 1000 into charge of each electron, which is minus 1.6 into 10 to the power of minus 19 coulomb. As simple as that. And the third property that we have is charge is conserved. Charge is conserved. So what do you mean by charge is conserved? It just means you cannot destroy a charge or you cannot create a charge, but you can transfer a charge from one body to another body. So this is very, very basics which we all have studied. We all know conservation of energy, right? We cannot create or destroy energy, but we can transfer energy from one form to another form. So this is very, very similar to that. So now we have discussed basics of what is charge, and what are the two types of charge, and how can we charge a body, right? And what are the basic charges, like protons and electrons are the basic charges, and how do we charge a body by adding or removing electron, and then what are the properties of charges. All right. And now what we will discuss is, we will discuss methods of charging a body, like what are the different methods by which we can charge a body. So methods of charging a body. Methods of charging a body. Okay, so there are three important methods to charge a body. So first method of charging a body is by conduction. By conduction. By conduction. Now what do we do in this method? In this method, an uncharged body will be brought in contact with a charged body. Again, remember, this method is suitable only for charging conductors, suitable to charge only conductors. Only conductors. So what are conductors? Conductors have free electrons in them. Anything that conducts electricity is a conductor. Conductors will have free electrons in them. Remember that. Okay, that means the electrons within the material can move easily within the body. It cannot come outside, obviously, but within the material it can move around. Okay, so that's a conductor. So this method is suitable to charge only a conductor. So what do we do in this method? An uncharged body, or you can say a charged body, is brought in contact with uncharged body, and due to which the charge gets redistributed. The charge gets distributed among the bodies. Okay, right? Very easy to understand. Say for example, I have a sphere, a conducting sphere, okay, which is not having any charge in it. Matlab, it is neutral. It has protons and electrons. Since number of protons and number of electrons are equal, no charge in it. Now what I will do, I'll bring a maybe a positively charged rod. Now when I say a positively charged rod, it means it has deficiency of electrons. That means I have removed electron from it. Okay, that's why it acquires a positive charge. So when I bring it in contact, then what will happen? Moment I bring it in contact, moment I touch it like that, immediately what will happen? The charges, few of the charges that are present on this rod will also get distributed on the sphere. Matlab, electrons from the sphere will start moving into this rod, because rod is having deficiency of electron, because it is having a positive charge. That means rod is having a deficiency of electron. So therefore what will happen, few of the electrons from the sphere will move to the rod. Now the sphere has lost electron because few of the electrons have moved to the rod. So the charge on the rod will decrease because few of the electrons from the sphere have come to the rod, and since the few electrons from the sphere have gone to the rod, sphere will acquire a positive charge. Okay, so this is the method of charging a body, okay, by conduction. All right, easy method. And the second method of charging a body is by induction. We'll see the friction later. There are three methods. First is conduction, which we discussed. Second is induction, and third is friction. So what do we do in this method of induction? We will not be bringing two bodies in contact. Again, this method is also suitable only to charge conductor. We cannot charge an insulator in this. Okay, insulators are those which will not conduct electrical current through it. Okay, or they will not possess free electrons. Unlike conductors, insulators will not possess free electrons. Okay, or it will not have free electrons, in other words. So second method is by induction, and this method is suitable only for conductors. We can charge only conductor even by this method. Now what are we going to do here? Here an uncharged body or a charged body will be brought close to an uncharged body. Okay, a charged body will be brought close to a uncharged body. Let us take uncharged body, but this is a conductor. Uncharged body must be a conductor. Now I'll bring a charged body close to this uncharged body. Okay, so let us say the charge on this is positively, this is a positively charged. Let us assume that this rod is positively charged. Okay, I brought close to this sphere which is uncharged. Now what will happen, moment I bring the positively charged rod closer to this sphere which is uncharged, the electrons in this will get attracted to the left, or the electrons will move to the left. Okay, electrons which are freely present throughout the conductor will get attracted towards this positive charge, and they will all move to the left. Now this region will acquire a positive charge because of deficiency of electron, because all the electrons which are present initially have got moved to the left. So this will acquire a positive charge. Matlab, a deficiency of electron will lead to a positive charge. Now what I will be doing is I will be connecting this to the ground through a switch. I will be connecting it to the ground. The moment you close the switch, what will happen? From the earth, this symbol represents earthing. Just connecting it to the ground. Okay, this symbol represents earthing. Okay. Now, moment I close the switch, since you have deficiency of electron, on the right side of the sphere, immediately electron from the ground will flow into the sphere. Okay. Now, after closing the switch for a while, I'll open the switch. Moment I open the switch, those electrons which have gone into the sphere cannot come back to the ground. They will get trapped within the sphere. Right? That means I have added electrons. From the ground into this sphere. So this is one of the easiest method, right? Again, this is suitable only for conductor. Okay? So this is charging by induction. Now remember, if you add positively charged rod, then the sphere will get negatively charged. Suppose if you had a negatively charged rod, then the sphere would have acquired a positive charge. At the end of this, at the end of this method of charging a body, if the rod had a positive charge, then the sphere would acquire negative charge. If the rod had a negative charge, then the sphere will acquire positive charge. Okay, opposite charge. Remember that. Okay. All right. And third method of charging a body is charging by friction. Easy, right? By friction. Charging by friction. So what do we do in this method? We bring two metals in contact and we rub against each other. Okay. So this method is suitable for both charging conductor and insulator. Suitable for both conductor and insulator. Okay, this is suitable for charging both conductor and insulator. So what do we do here? Two bodies will be brought together and two bodies will be rubbed against each other, due to which electron from one body will get transferred to the another body. Now you all might have seen this, like when you comb your hair and then take comb closer to a bits of paper, the papers will get attracted, right? You all have seen that, right? So that is the same thing. Okay, so that is nothing but charging by friction. So I can say, um, when when two bodies are rubbed against each other, rubbed against each other, comma, electrons from one body will get into another body, right? And that body which loses electron will acquire a positive charge, and that body which acquires electron will become uh, negatively charged. That body which loses electron positive, that body which acquires electron is negative. So the example is, when the comb, okay, when you comb your hair and then take a bits of paper, um, close to this comb, the comb will attract these bits of paper. Okay, so what actually happens when you comb the when you comb your hair, um, the electrons, the comb gets negatively charged, the comb gets negatively charged, and this negatively charged comb will attract these bits of paper, because this bits of paper, within the bits of paper, the electrons will be rippled. Electrons will be rippled. That means this end will become positively charged, and this will be negatively charged. In the sense, they get redistributed. The electrons will be rippled, so electrons will come to the farther end of this paper, and leaving a deficiency of electron at the top end. So the top end is positively charged now, so that will get attracted to the comb. Okay, that's it. It's very simple method of uh, charging a body. So this is suitable again for both conductor and insulator. All right. Okay, so that's all for this video. We'll continue the rest of the things in the future videos. Happy learning.